Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of the Arachnapocalypse Developers Commentary. As always, Rock here, and there's a few things that we'd like to do before we get started with the area, spiral complex, the green wool area. And as you can see, we might be able to tell from our inventory what we plan. I will be getting some enchanted pants. The pants themselves give protection 5 and 15% max health, which is a very good amount, and I think that should be good for what we want. We'll also be going for a potion trade. I'm thinking a bit of regen will be fantastic to add on top of our current potions, and I think we are good to go. We got lots of food. As you can see, we've managed to hoard a lot of food from all the strings and spider eyes we found. We got backups of mostly everything. Oh, we wanted to do this before I forget. Nice power 4 bow. And I think with that, we're good to go. So today we'll be heading into the last area of the map, the spiral complex. The spiral complex is, of course, the hardest area of the map. Initially, like I mentioned before, the green wool area, or not the green wool, the red wool area was intended to be the hardest area of the map. I had set up the colors of the areas to be initially set up the colors of the areas to be what the difficulty was supposed to be. However, due to the various things with everything, it ended up not being the case. So green wool is the second hardest area of the map. Actually, no, sorry. Correction. It is the hardest area of the map. It was initially intended to be the second hardest area of the map, but that didn't pan out. So this one is a very heavy, very combat-heavy oriented area. So expect to do a lot of fighting, especially if you intend to explore the whole area. There are lots of little secrets and lots of loot to be found. I'm trying to remember. Not over here. There is a little secret somewhere around. Some extra food for if you need it. We are pretty set on food at the moment. I believe if we look around over here somewhere, we should find... there it is. It's a little slow buck. There we go. So this is the kind of stuff I have hidden around the areas. Is in general, there's little chests that you can find the loot you need for the areas. That one, it's very dependent on the areas. I'm probably, when I do my update, going to make them a little more obvious so people who are observant can get to them. However, at the moment for the 1.1 version, it's not the case. Some of them you'll find, some of them like there's one in the ceiling of a Frosty Nightmare that has lapis lazuli block that you could see. In this one there was that snow block right there. So at the moment in 1.1, it's more of if you're observant enough, then you will find them. Else it's in 1.2, I'm gonna attempt to find all my secrets that I hid and make them a lot more apparent, more obvious. Because if I remember correctly, there is about 2 hidden chests with the diamond and the iron in each of the areas. I don't remember where they are, but they're supposed to be, I think, 2. But we'll see. So this is Spiral Complex. It ended up being pretty close to how I initially wanted it. I had a lot of help with the color of the spiral. This was the second area I built on camera. The Frosty Nightmare, of course, being the third area, and the Murder Bridge being the first. And it turned out really well. I liked it. I had gotten feedback and suggestions on using obsidian and nether brick on the center pillar, and it ended up turning out really well. And also the suggestion for the glowstone spiral around it, and I really like it a lot. I think it's probably the second most aesthetically pleasing area next to Frosty Nightmare. I actually really enjoy Frosty Nightmare, but it looks really good. I think in the release version of the map, I added these vines and I had the cobwebs as well. It was originally without vines, without cobwebs, and I ended up going in and adding those just to kind of fill out the area a little bit, give it some extra oomph, just so it didn't look so empty. Because without it, it did look pretty empty. Ooh, damn. I will say without it, it did look fairly empty, and that's why pretty much I went through and added the cobweb and the vines and stuff. Now, the vines can be a bit of a hassle up once we get up the spiral, but in general, I think the map's a lot better with the vines and the cobweb and all of that. The cobweb and vine tendrils. So now we'll be working our way up the spiral. This is the kind of the major gameplay of this map, or this area, is working our way up the spirals. There's 2 spirals, one on each side, or there's one on one side and one on the opposite side of the tendril. And oh, there's a rage spider. Forgot about that. Nope. Sorry, rage spider. Not today, my good friend. I don't remember where he is. I think he's up a little higher. Nope. So there's a lot of vertical gameplay in this area, and it can become a bit tricky depending on how things go for you. This is definitely, like I mentioned before, the hardest area of the map, and as thus can be tricky. You have to be very careful about how you approach this, and you have to be, I think this is one of those areas that you have to be very methodical, and you have to approach it, you know, a little bit slower. Not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to approach it slower, but you do have to be a bit more methodical about it. You can go through and sprint it. I'm going to choose to go through and just light up the area and do it slowly. I've seen in there was a speedrun video that I saw of the map that beat the map in 10 minutes and 13 seconds. That ended up going up the area really quickly, and if you intend to go through the area really quickly, that would be the way he did it. Would be the way to do it for this map. Before we get too deep and potentially run out of torches, let's get one more stack of torches going for ourselves, and we'll be good. Oop. Continue going up. I think we're getting close to the rage spider territory. Towards the top of each side of the spiral, there is a rage. I think 1 or 2 rage spider spawners, just to give a little bit of extra difficulty. It might be cave spiders, or I don't remember if it's cave spiders or rage spiders. I think it's just cave spiders initially, and then up in the area itself has rage spiders. Yeah, so I think the initial ones are up here. You have to be pretty careful with the gameplay of this, because one false mess up and you're going all the way down because of the verticalness of the map. Take out this real quick. I've seen quite a few people who've accidentally gotten thrusted off this and hit the ground too hard and died. So it is a very real threat. And along with the holes, okay, there we go. Oh, that's a lot of rage spiders. Did he fall? Okay, I think he fell. Let's get over here quickly. Try to take out this rage spider spawner. So, if you play it really safe and really careful, you shouldn't have too much difficulty with this area. There are a couple rage spider spawners throughout the area. However, it shouldn't be too difficult. Now, if you're new to the area and you haven't seen it before, it can be a bit more difficult. But as I made the area, tends to not be as difficult for me. This is one thing I will say about Dev Coms is that you should expect the developer to be a lot better at the map than a normal player, at least someone who's blind playthrough. So if the developer is doing absolutely atrocious at the map, then something's going wrong. Developer should have a really strong grasp on the map and should be able to play it very, very well. So don't expect to do typically as well as the developer unless you've played the map a lot. That's the biggest thing I'll say. That's a rage spider. Get out of here. You, I believe, are a titan spider? Something like that. But anyways, there's the chest, or the wool. There is a chest on top. I don't remember what's in it. Let's just go up. Oh, there's a spawner up here, though. A couple +1 swords. At this point, because we took on this area last, those swords aren't really that useful. I don't know if I mentioned this before. Realistically, you can approach any of the areas in whatever order you want. However, there are some orders that are easier than others. Some orders that are easier than others, and some orders that are recommended by myself. I recommend doing the Murder Bridge, followed by Frosty Nightmares, followed by Spiral Complex. That's the order I'd recommend when we went down the wrong side. Let's get back up here and go down the right side. That's the order I would recommend for the map. Really, you can play in whatever order you want. However, it may be more difficult depending on which order you choose. So that's the order I recommend for the map. And when I do the 1.2 update of the map, I will be adjusting the wool colors so that it's a bit more apparent, since the wool colors in this really don't mean a whole lot. It's the initial order that I wanted the difficulty to be, but it's not the order that it ended up being in. So when I do the 1.2 update of the map, I will be going back and changing the wool colors. I'm not entirely sure what colors I'm going to use. I'm thinking of just using the I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use. I haven't thought about yet, but I will be using colors to represent the intended order that I have for the map. So it will be Murder Bridge, followed by Frosty Nightmare, followed by Spiral Complex. So expect that in the 1.2 version of the map. Damn, the sword just won't die. Expect that in the 1.2 version of the map, is that the wool colors will pretty much they'll reflect the color order that I intend for the map to be played in. So that's one of the features in 1.2 that I will be updating. I have a small little list of things that I would like to do for 1.2. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of things I'm going to update for 1.2. Probably a lot of minor things. But in general, I don't think there's a huge amount that I'll be updating for 1.2. Like, I'll fix the traders, version 1.2, because version 1.7 of the map, my pants took a shit stomping. The map with Minecraft 1.7 is broken for traders. Like, if you go to the last trade, it'll crash the game for you, which isn't intended, and it's not a good thing. So that's one of the things that'll be fixed. Other than that, it's probably minor spawner adjustments / changes. But overall, I think it's going to be a fairly similar map. There isn't going to be too much that I plan to change. Just I think just minor things. I like the overall balance of the map. I like the overall gameplay. It plays well for the play style that I intend for the map. As I've said, I'm pretty sure I said before, the map is intended. The play style for the map that's intended is a very fast-paced play style. So it's a very, continuously pressing forward play style. It's not a lot of kind of sitting around farming and all of that. So if you play it with that and play style in mind, it becomes it becomes a lot easier. If you're playing it with a very I guess a Z-stowy play style, I guess probably one of the better ways I can describe it. A very slow paced, very slow paced methodical play style. It can become quite a bit. What? Oh, he probably went right into a block. If you play it with that sort of play style, it does become quite a bit more difficult because the mobs have the opportunity to spawn, and rooms can go overrun with mob spawns, and it just becomes a mess. So if you play the map with the intended play style in mind, it does become a lot easier. But that is going to do it for the Arachnapocalypse Developers Commentary. And that is a monumental victory. Oh, yeah, our fancy Minecon cape. So that is the Arachnapocalypse map in a nutshell. Thanks for joining, everyone. I will be now moving on to the 1.2 update version of the map. I'm going to say it's going to be out in maybe a week or so. So probably by either the weekend. I think this episode's going to be out on Tuesday. So hopefully by the weekend or somewhere around there, the version 1.2 of the map will be good. It'll be available for Minecraft 1.7. So that will do it for this. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or feedback, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the developer's commentary, do feel free to leave a like. It always helps. As always, this is Rock, and I'll catch you guys next time.